Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope all of you are doing well. Today's topic is very simple and it belongs from biochemistry. Biochemistry is basically a branch in which we study the biochemical reactions that are taking place in the living bodies, in living organisms. So today's topic is proteins, and as we have discussed in the previous videos of this chapter, that this chapter is of macromolecules, and one of the macromolecules very important, that is carbohydrates, we have completely discussed in our previous lectures. Similarly, proteins are macromolecules. Why proteins are macromolecules? As carbohydrates have high molecular weight, similarly proteins have also high molecular weight, therefore they are called macromolecules. And the word protein has been derived from a Greek word. The name of that Greek word is proteus. What is this proteus word mean? The meaning of this word is of prime importance. Proteins are very important for our bodies. Our body is not able to be completed without proteins. Many of the biochemical reactions of our body are taking place in the presence of proteins. For example, if we talk about enzymes are controlling many of the biochemical processes of our body. Similarly, if we consider our blood, there are a lot of proteins which are present in our blood. For example, there are three types of cells: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. The red color of the red blood cells is just because of the protein which is hemoglobin, and that is the oxygen carrying protein in the human body. So proteins are very important for us. And what is the definition of protein? Proteins are macromolecules which upon complete hydrolysis generate amino acids. Proteins are polymers, and proteins are formed by the combination of amino acids. And what are amino acids? The general formula of amino acid is this is central carbon, and with this central carbon, one carboxylic acid is present, the other is amino group, one is R group. It may be any alkyl group, CH3, CH3, CH2, up to so on. This is one amino acid. When large number of amino acids connect with each other, and they form the whole, by their connection, by their assembly, the whole molecular weight of that polypeptide becomes 10,000 grams per mole. Remember it, 10,000 grams per mole. Then we call that polymer as proteins. When amino acids combine with each other, and by their combination, the whole molecular weight of that polymer becomes 10,000 grams, then we say that protein has been formed. If the molecular weight of that polypeptide is less than that of 10,000 grams, we cannot say that it is a protein. So this is one amino acid. The question is how these amino acids combine with each other. For example, this is one amino acid, and this is the hydroxyl function group of the one amino acid. The other amino acid has also the same structure. The amino group of the other amino acid is on the opposite side of the first amino acid, and this hydrogen of the amino group and this hydroxyl of the first amino acid combine with each other, and water is released. And those reactions in which small molecules like water is released, like carbon dioxide is released, like ammonia is released, are called condensation reactions. So when amino acids condense, when they combine with each other and their whole molecular weight becomes just greater than 10,000 grams per mole, then we say that protein has been formed. So how many total number of proteins are present in the human body? The total number of the proteins which is present in the human body is 10,000. 10,000 is the total number of proteins. So human body is made up of these 10,000 proteins. And how many amino acids are involved in making these 10,000 proteins? These are only 20 amino acids which are present in our body. And among those 20 amino acids, 10 amino acids are called essential amino acids, and 10 amino acids are called non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are those amino acids which we must uptake in our diet because they are not able to be synthesized in our body. While on the other hand, non-essential amino acids are those amino acids which our body can synthesize on its own. So we should not take from outside. They are non-essential amino acids. So this was the introductory part of the protein. The one very important question: is protein just made up of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen? No, not at all. This proteinous structure may also consist of the other atoms along with nitrogen. For example, it may contain sulfur, it may contain phosphorus, it may contain manganese, up to so on. So proteinous structure is a very diverse structure. So this was all about the introductory portion of the protein. And the second portion of this topic is the classification of proteins. How should we classify them? There are many criteria for the classification of protein. The important one which is present in your book is the classification on the basis of physiochemical nature of proteins. How we can classify them on the basis of composition and on the basis of solubility. This classification of proteins is upon the basis of physiochemical nature, means upon the basis of composition, that from which amino acids are, how proteins are formed, and on the basis of their solubility. There are three classes of proteins on the basis of physiochemical nature. First one is simple protein, the second one is conjugated or complex proteins, and the third one is derived proteins. So, what are simple proteins? Simple proteins are those proteins which only consist of amino acids, or which upon complete hydrolysis, when they are dissolved in water, which upon complete hydrolysis produce just amino acids, are called simple proteins. The examples of these simple proteins are albumins. Albumin protein is present in egg. This globulin protein is present in the blood, and these legumens and collagen proteins are also simple proteins, and these are present in the connective tissues of our body, and they are making the 25 to 35% portion of our total body. So these are very important, legumens and collagen proteins. The other class of the proteins is the conjugated proteins. These are proteins which not only contain amino acid, but also contain a non-proteinous part in them. Non-proteinous part, remember it, these conjugated proteins contain non-proteinous part in them, and that non-proteinous part is called prosthetic group. So what are the examples of these conjugated proteins? Glycoproteins. These are formed by the combination of proteins and carbohydrates. Lipoproteins are formed by the combination of lipids and then proteins. These phosphoproteins are made up of by the combination of phosphoric acid and proteins. These metalloproteins are formed by the combination of metallic group and the proteins. Similarly, nucleoproteins are also the example of these conjugated proteins, in which nucleic acid combine with the proteins and they form nucleoproteins. The third category is the derived proteins, and these derived proteins are formed by the combination, are derived from these simple and conjugated proteins. And the examples of these derived proteins is enzymes, peptones. Enzymes, you know very betterly that what is the function of enzymes. Enzymes, peptones, polypeptides, and oligopeptides. So this was all about the general introduction of the proteins, as well as their classification on the basis of their physiochemical nature. There are many other criteria upon which we can classify proteins. For example, on the basis of their function, there are some proteins which transport many of the chemical materials throughout our body. Uh, they are called transport proteins. For example, the other ones are enzymes, which are controlling many of the biochemical processes. So there are many criteria. This criteria is present in your book, so I have discussed with all of you. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. Remember me in your prayers. We will meet in the next one. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.